All right, guys. Welcome to the last session on the enterprise side. So this is it's kind of got a fancy title: BlackBerry Enterprise Features of the Future. Kind of sounds like a crystal ball kind of thing. If some of you guys don't know me, my name is Jim Ng. I recognize some faces here from the previous sessions. Okay, so I guess for Graham, moving forward, like you guys are all familiar with, the fact that we're transitioning to a new platform. And I guess I kind of want to put up the slide to kind of show you all the different pieces that are in place. So yeah, we definitely have, like a method to our madness. There's different building blocks that we're kind of putting in place to make sure that, we're building on top of a solid platform. So obviously the first one is, the QNX real-time operating system. So this is really important because, it's a multi-core operating system. It's very secure. QNX has been around for a long time. It's a rock-solid, stable operating system. It's used by nuclear power plants. It's running in your cars. So it's not something that was just kind of hashed out in like 2 years or whatever. It's been around for a while. So that's kind of like the bottom layer. And then on top, we've got the Astonishing Tribe. This is a company from Malmo, Sweden that we acquired. So these guys were doing crazy UI stuff. Like it just, like everybody that looked at their stuff, like if you go onto YouTube and you just do a search on TAT or whatever, and you just look at like some of the demos they have, like some of these demos are probably like a year old, 2 years old, and like the stuff that they were doing was just amazing. So yeah, we were smart enough to actually acquire them, and these are the guys that built out our Cascades framework. So it's probably not as sexy as like the demos that you'll see in the videos, but yeah, it's definitely leading edge, I'd say. The other company we acquired was Torch. So this is Torch Mobile. This is a company down at Yonge and Eglinton in Toronto. So they built this really awesome mobile WebKit browser. So we acquired them for that piece. And then there's Ubitex. So this is for MDM solutions for like non-BlackBerry devices. So to be able to handle like iOS and Android device management. So we acquired them, and we also acquired Gist and Tungle for I guess a federated contacts and calendar. So basically, being able to tie those pieces together. And I think there have been like other acquisitions like Tiny Hippo for the Ripple emulator. There's probably a lot of other acquisitions that I don't remember right now. I think we acquired like Docs2Go, so they're part of our portfolio, I guess. Okay, so I guess the thing, kind of what I guess got Grim into trouble is we didn't kind of see ahead, and kind of this whole bring your own device to work idea. So this is kind of what drove like iOS and Android into the workplace. People bringing all their own personal phones into the enterprise, and like saying, like especially when you get like a C-level exec, brings his iPhone and says, yeah, I want to be able to get on the network and check my emails. So IT has to kind of accommodate those guys. So I guess we kind of didn't, anticipate that. So that's probably, like one of those things that we kind of wish we kind of saw way back when. But yeah, we're catching up there. And I guess the other thing that we kind of wish we took back was when we kind of introduced the BlackBerry 7 phones. I was told that I guess we kind of forgot about doing like an advertising campaign in North America. We focused on the rest of the world and we forgot about North America. So that was kind of another stumbling block. But anyways, so for our enterprise mobility, I guess the topic here is consumerization. So the whole idea of like personal experience. So being able to kind of create this balance between your work life and your personal life, and being able to like basically put both of them on your device without having like two separate devices. So a lot of time you see people carrying this is their work phone, this is their other work phone, like if they have a side business or something like that. So it'd be nice to just have everything on one device. So that's what we're aiming for. And basically what we call this is BlackBerry Balance. So basically balancing your work life and your personal life. So you've got the enterprise side there on the left, and you've got the user personal side on the other side. And basically, like the two can kind of coexist on the same device. So we definitely, like security is our big asset. So, we definitely want to, make sure that all the enterprise stuff is secure, for all, the liability, corporate liability and all that kind of stuff. And kind of in the middle, we kind of have like a lot of shared applications. So like pictures and photos. Like you want to be able to use like the same viewer for that. You don't want a different viewer for each of them. Actually, I jumped ahead here. So this is kind of how we kind of segment them. So on one side, you've got the work application. So this is all your biz, email contacts. You got BlackBerry Bridge and Viewer, BlackBerry Browser. So that's actually a separate browser. So you can actually use that work browser to actually get into your intranet. So you can access internal sites like for expenses and stuff like that, or reporting type applications. And any work applications. So the nice thing too about the balance is, let's say you have like a travel expense app that you actually want to push to every single employee. You can actually make that a required app in the the enterprise app world or your company's app world. So those are required, and those actually automatically get pushed to the device, and the actual user can actually even delete those apps. So they're there permanently. And yeah, we actually have some of our own internal ones for testing, and we actually force people to have Angry Birds on there, so you can do stuff like that. It's pretty cool. And yeah, on the other side, you have personal applications. So this is pretty much anything that people want to download from App World. So any games, lifestyle apps, whatever, right? So those are completely in their own space, and they have their own separate web browser. Right, so separate bookmarks, all that kind of stuff. And then in the middle, this is kind of what I was talking about, was you have a single photo viewer that can actually access both sides. Same with the media player, because there's no sense duplicating the app for both sides. So and then there's the file viewer application. So yeah, so the idea here is like all this stuff is segmented. So anything on this side can't be accessed on the personal side. So everything is kind of like self-contained. So yeah, they actually went to quite a lot of lengths with this. Like let's say you're in the Bridge viewer and you're actually looking at messages on your phone from your playbook. You can't even take a screenshot of that screen. Right? That's how much they actually thought about stuff like that. And same with copying and pasting. I can't be in my BlackBerry browser over here. I can't actually go to, let's say, the salaries page or something like that, copy all that stuff and try and go into, my personal app side and, paste it into a memo or something like that, right? So everything is segmented there, okay? So they thought about it quite a bit. So this is kind of what it looks like once you actually have it installed. You actually get this little briefcase icon with a lock on it, and once you tap on that, you can actually unlock it. So this is a really useful feature if, for example, I share my playbook with my kids sometimes. So they'll just want to quickly watch a video or something like that. So what I can do is I can actually give them my playbook. But what I do is I tap on this and I say lock, and then everything in this work folder here is locked. So they can't access any of my work emails. They can't access any work documents. So if I have any PowerPoints, Excel spreadsheets, they can't see any of that without my password. Right, but they can access all this other stuff like Facebook, Scrapbook, Angry Birds, and all that kind of stuff there. Okay. Okay, and this is I guess the enterprise catalog. So once you set it up, this is the normal app world here. But what you get is you get this extra icon here that says work. So I can actually go to that work tab there, and then I can actually see all the applications that my enterprise has basically put in there. Right, and then you can see here you can force people to download mandatory applications, and of course optional ones. Right, so they're free to download Angry Birds or whatever. Okay, and yeah, I'm supposed to do a demo here on my playbook, but unfortunately I don't actually have the work perimeter set up on my playbook, so I have to go with I guess all these screenshots that I just showed you here. Okay, so these are all the different connection options you have. So if you guys are already kind of like I guess a BlackBerry shop, you'll probably already have something like Bez or something like that. For I guess Playbook, you'll need BDS. So that's the BlackBerry Device Services. So the way this works is Bez is basically for all the older phones. So like basically BlackBerry 5, 6, and 7. And then all the BB10 stuff and Playbook is actually managed by BDS service. So that's actually a separate server. So you can't actually use Bez to manage all the newer devices. So you kind of need both. Okay. And I guess the other option you have is, yeah, you can do it through a VPN and a management server there, or you can then use ActiveSync. And I think that this is what I think probably the iOS and Android guys do, is ActiveSync, or some form of that, and they poke a hole through the firewall on port SSL or something like that. Okay, OS security. How many guys here have used QNX before? Yeah, okay. Yeah, so it's a really neat operating system. They have this thing called a microkernel, which is like if you kind of compare it to like something like Microsoft Windows or something like that, which is a really heavy layered operating system. QNX is a little bit different. There's actually a good slide over here. So yeah, so this is kind of the direct, and this is kind of like the layered kernel here. So this is kind of what QNX looks like, or QNX as they like to be called. So basically, they have this very thin layer right here, and they have like very basic functionalities, and then they kind of build stuff on top. So it's kind of like in these chunks here. And I guess the way, I'm not really a security guy, but the way it was explained to me was with this kind of like monolithic, I guess layered approach, is if I'm a hacker and I basically hack into any one of these layers, I can actually, I basically have access to your entire system. Whereas here, if I just hack into, like, let's say, I write a bad device driver, I can't take down your whole operating system. And same for like doing upgrades. Like if I just want to like upgrade like one piece of it, I don't have to like reboot the system. So this is the really nice thing about QNX is basically I can actually install an app, and as you guys know, like with like our old BlackBerry apps, every time you upgrade an app, you have to restart the stupid device, and yeah, it's like the most annoying thing. It's like, come on, really? But yeah, with our new operating system, you don't have to worry about doing that kind of stuff anymore because of this microkernel architecture, right? You just upgrade that one piece and done. You don't have to restart the whole thing again. So that makes it a lot nicer, especially when you're doing a lot of development testing, and you're installing a new app, and it's like, I gotta restart again. And especially on the Playbook, that thing takes a good couple of minutes to restart. So very painful if you have to do that. Just jump back here. So yeah, so the benefits of microkernel, you get less code, so it helps. There's less vulnerabilities. Makes testing and verification a lot easier because you just have to test just those single pieces, right? Isolates processes, so it keeps the user space kind of separate. And I guess this is key. Minimize all root processes. So basically, just the essential things run as root, and everything else and anything that's non-RIM doesn't get root access. So that kind of helps protect the security. And this is just a table comparison between microkernel and monolithic. And yeah, I guess the other advantage of QNX is it supports multi-core. So if down the road, like in the future with our newer phones, if we actually want to put like dual core or quad core on there, we actually could. It'll make your phone pretty hot, and probably burn a hole in your pants and kill your battery. But that kind of gives us room for doing stuff like that. And we got direct access as opposed to layered thread access, and better use of memory. And I already mentioned this one, the OS is easily upgradable. Okay, any security guys here? Understand encryption? Actually, you probably understand this slide better. So yeah, so there's a lot of different, this is just basically to kind of prove that, I guess, we control the entire stack for security. So yeah, like one of the guys on our team, he's a real security guy. He actually, I think he actually worked for the NSA. So like this is actually one of his slides. So I don't really understand all this stuff. But yeah, he's a real hacker, and I think like the FBI keeps an eye on him all the time. So whenever he goes to like hacker conferences, they pull him over and they say, yeah, we want to talk to you. It's like, no, I'm not going with you. So it's pretty funny. He's got some great stories. But yeah, he's the kind of guy, like he says, if you give me your iPhone, within 2 minutes I can actually hack it, like steal all your data off your iPhone and yeah, your Android as well. So yeah, he's a scary guy to be around. But yeah, basically you can see kind of every single layer, like all the way from like the boot ROM all the way up to like the operating system and the base file system. Everything is pretty much secured. So you got EC 521 keys, SHA-256. So everything's like cryptographically hashed, right? So it really protects your system and all your apps. So if you have some rogue app or malware, yeah, you can be sure that yeah, they're not going to get too much out of you. And yeah, this is another one of his slides to just kind of show like how everything is protected. So yeah, he calls it innovative device data leak prevention. So here we've got the work perimeter, personal perimeter, and yeah, there's no round tripping here in the middle. Yeah, so a lot of the stuff like data leaking prevention control. So you have data access transfers, cut and paste, file transfer, all that kind of stuff is blocked here. Right, so you can't pull anything from the work side to the personal perimeter side. Of course, you can go the other way. So if I want to, take personal data over to the work side, yeah, that's fine. I just can't come back around. Okay. So again, this is kind of like one of the reasons we decided to go our own way, because a lot of critics said, well, why didn't you guys do Android as well? Well, Android's got a lot of security problems, and there's I guess different implementations, and the market's kind of fragmented. So in order to kind of, I guess, control the security, we really felt that we really had to control everything ourselves, and that's why we kind of went the Unix route. Okay, so there's different ways of controlling the work perimeter. So you got all the different policies. So there's passwords, password policies, security timeouts. You got network access control, and yeah, we can also wipe the work perimeter without network connectivity. So this is actually pretty cool. So I think if somebody actually tries to stop it, so like let's say I'm in the process of wiping your device, and the guy says, "Oh, I'm going to quickly turn it off," and hopefully that'll stop it. Well, as soon as you turn it back on, it's going to continue wiping. So yeah, it's pretty secure. Okay, and we have other security controls. So we actually sandbox the user space. And there's lots of application permissions. So we got the authorization manager, which controls permission to resources like internet, camera, all that kind of stuff. Okay, so this one I can probably talk a little bit better about. So this is Mobile Fusion. So this is kind of one of our products to kind of basically help you with device management. Okay, so right now, we have our BES that, we're well known for, but we also have BDS. I think there's actually a slide. I think it's right at the very end. But so basically, there's kind of like 3 pieces to it. So we've got BES for all the legacy devices. We've got BDS for all the like the playbooks and the BB10, and then we also have what's called UDS, which is a Universal Device Service for other devices like iOS and Android and Windows Phone and whatever comes down in the future. So we kind of got these 3 different servers for managing all those, and then we have this kind of like umbrella on top of that, umbrella product called Mobile Fusion. So that's what kind of ties all 3 together. So basically, what we give you is this single console to kind of manage all that, and that's why we kind of call it Fusion. So that's this whole idea of single console, simplified management, because you don't want to have to log into 3 different interfaces to manage all your devices, right? So this is kind of what the actual UI looks like. I'm actually fairly new to RIM, so I'm actually not familiar with what all the BES interfaces look like, but I'm told they were kind of pretty ugly, and this UI is much cleaner. So here you can see, I'm not sure if you can see the small text here, so you can see there's a BlackBerry Torch 9810, there's a Playbook, iPhone 4S, and Samsung Galaxy Tab. So as an administrator, I can just go right in here, click on this guy, Paul Morley, and I can see all their devices. I can go in here and manage all their policies and stuff like that, right? And of course I can probably do remote wipes and all that kind of stuff, delete all device data or delete only work data. Okay, so here's the, I guess, the architecture for BDS. So here's the diagram here. So yeah, so you get your playbook out here, you got secure access, and then there's the protocols here that go through the firewall. So these are 256-bit encryption over port 3101. Right, so we can talk to ActiveSync, and there's the Mobile Fusion there. Okay. Yeah, is there any IT administrators in here? You guys probably know more about this stuff than me. I'm more of a WebWorks guy. So not really administrator, but I'll try and walk you through the best I can here. I just know enough to be dangerous. So here's the Universal Device Service. And yeah, I thought this was kind of cool. Like, we provide jailbreak detection. So for enterprises, this is kind of important because as soon as your device is jailbroken, like, yeah, a hacker could pretty much access any data on there. And yeah, we also provide rooting detection on Android. Okay. And then, yeah, you can actually get to the enterprise catalog and I guess aids in troubleshooting, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so this is what UDS gives you. It gives you IT configuration. So I don't really want to walk through every single one of these, but yeah, so you can set up Wi-Fi, VPN settings, configure email, IT policies, yeah, define access and all that kind of stuff. You can lock the device, unlock it, reset device password, wipe device, right? All sorts of neat things. You can synchronize with LDAP servers. Yeah, you can deploy internal apps, right? Okay. So yeah, so this is kind of that summary slide I was telling you about. So you know, you've got, so for BlackBerry smartphones, you get, you know, existing, you can use BES servers. Playbook BB10, there's the BDS, iOS, Android, and you know, anything else, UDS, and then the Mobile Fusion sits on top of that. Okay, so that's kind of how that works. Oh, that's it. Okay. Any questions on that? Is anybody using Mobile Fusion right now? No? Okay. How's it working out for you?
Like the integration with the native mail app, like an account.
Yeah. Good to hear. Yeah, because I guess like for the UDS, like obviously like we can only expose I guess like what, you know, the actual Apple and I guess Google actually open up to us. So you know, you're obviously not going to get, you know, all the, you know, was it 300 IT policies that, you know, you can on the BlackBerry device. I think on those ones, I think you only get like 30 or something like that, or 50 or something like that. So it's definitely a smaller subset, but at least it gives you something. Okay. Okay, if there's no more questions, thank you very much. And hope you guys enjoyed BlackBerry 10 Jam.